You're already 10 minutes late, your keys are in your hand, your bag is on your shoulder, your phone keeps lighting up with reminders you don't have time to read. And your child is still in pajamas. You've asked them to get dressed not once, not twice, but 5 times. At first your voice was calm, neutral, patient. Hey, we need to get dressed. Nothing. You tried again, still gentle. Come on, sweetheart, we're going to be late. Nothing. By the 3rd time, something shifts inside your body. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks. Your voice sharpens just enough that you can hear it change. We need to leave now. And somewhere between the 3rd and 4th request, something else happens too. You stop being the parent you want to be and start becoming someone you don't recognize. Your tone feels unfamiliar. Your patience feels thin. And a quiet thought creeps in, one you don't want to admit out loud. Why aren't they listening to me? This moment doesn't feel dramatic from the outside. There's no screaming, no chaos, no meltdown, but inside you it feels heavy. Because this isn't just about getting dressed, it's about what it feels like when your words don't seem to matter. And that feeling shows up again later, at dinner. You set the plate down carefully. You made something they usually like. You even cut it the way they prefer. Hey, it's time to eat. They don't look up. Their eyes are locked onto the tablet. Their body is still, completely absorbed. You try again. Dinner's ready. Nothing. You wait a second, then another. Did you hear me? Still nothing. No response. Not even a flicker of acknowledgement. So you do what most parents do next. You start reasoning. The food's getting cold. You said you were hungry. Don't you want chicken nuggets? Your words float in the air and disappear. And now the edge is back in your voice. I'm not asking again, but here's the part that hurts the most. You know you probably will, because you're standing there, because you made the food, because you're holding the plate, and because somewhere deep down a painful question starts forming. Do my words carry any weight at all? In those moments, it doesn't feel like a discipline problem. It doesn't feel like a strategy problem. It feels personal. You feel invisible, like background noise in your own home. And when they finally respond, usually after the 4th or 5th request, it's not because they listened, it's because your patience cracked. Your voice changed, your energy shifted. They didn't respond to your words, they responded to your emotional breaking point. And afterward, when the house finally quiets down, you're left with something heavier than frustration. You're left wondering if you're failing it, if you're too soft, too inconsistent, not firm enough, or worse, if something is wrong with your child. But here's what matters. This is not happening because your child is defiant. And it's not happening because you're doing something fundamentally wrong. If this pattern feels familiar, you are not alone. In fact, this exact struggle, feeling ignored in your own home, is the number 1 frustration parents report. Not tantrums, not picky eating, not sleep. The feeling that your words don't land. And it's happening for a reason. Not a character flaw. Not a discipline failure. A pattern that most parents accidentally create and never realize they can change. So why does this keep happening? Why do intelligent, capable, emotionally healthy children suddenly seem to develop selective hearing when it comes to the simplest requests? Here's the part that changes everything. Every time you repeat yourself, you're not teaching your child to listen. You're teaching them exactly when they don't have to. I know that sounds backwards. You repeat yourself because they aren't listening. That makes sense. But from your child's brain perspective, something very different is happening. Every time an instruction is repeated without follow-through, the brain learns a rule. The first request doesn't matter. The second one doesn't matter either. The third is optional. The 4th or 5th. That's when it's real. You're not teaching listening, you're teaching timing. Think about your alarm clock. Most adults don't wake up on the first alarm, the first ring, noise, the second, background, and the third. That's when your brain finally says, okay, now I have to respond. You didn't plan it, you trained it. Your child's brain does the exact same thing with your voice. The first request becomes background sound. The second gets filtered out. The third is still skippable. They've learned that your words alone don't signal action. Your tone does. Your frustration does. Your breaking point does. And here's the most important part. This isn't happening because your child is spoiled, or manipulative, or stubborn. This is developmental. Your child's brain is not wired the way yours is. And once you understand what's actually happening inside their brain, the behavior suddenly makes sense. So let's slow this down. Picture your child playing that they're building a block tower, or lining up cars, or drawing with complete focus. Their hands are moving, their eyes are locked in, their brain is fully engaged. Then from across the room you say, time to get dressed. From your perspective, it's a simple instruction. From theirs, you just ask them to do something neurologically difficult. You ask them to stop mid-thought, interrupt a focused task, shift attention, hold your instruction in memory, suppress the urge to keep playing, and physically transition into an activity they don't want to do. All at once. Here's what most parents don't realize. The brain systems responsible for task switching, impulse control, and working memory are still developing well into young adulthood. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps you stop one thing and start another, doesn't fully mature until the mid-20s. In young children, these skills are just beginning. So when your child doesn't respond right away, it's not because they're ignoring you on purpose. Their brain is genuinely absorbed. Research on selective attention shows that when children are deeply engaged, they can hear the sound of your voice without processing the meaning of your words. It's similar to when you're reading something intensely and someone calls your name and you answer, yeah, without realizing what you just agreed to. Except children don't yet have the mature control to pull themselves out of that focus quickly. Switching gears takes effort. And now here's where repeating makes everything worse. When you repeat instructions without following through, the brain adapts. It learns that immediate response isn't required. Your voice becomes something to filter out until the emotional tone changes, until you sound urgent or angry or done. Studies on parent-child communication consistently show this pattern. When parents reduce repetition and increase clarity and follow-through, listening improves. Not because children become more obedient, but because they're no longer trained to tune out. That's what makes this so fixable. You're not fighting your child. You're breaking a pattern, and once you see that, the solution stops feeling personal. It becomes practical. So what do you do instead? How do you stop repeating without yelling, threatening, or begging? There's a 3-step method, simple, clear, and backed by child development science. And the first step takes about 10 seconds. Step 1, connect before you direct. This is where most parents unknowingly set themselves up to fail. They give instructions from across the room, from the kitchen or from the hallway, from the bathroom. Get dressed. Did you hear me? I'm not telling you again. But without connection, an instruction isn't really an instruction. It's just sound competing with whatever already has your child's attention. And attention always wins. If you want your child to listen, you need their focus first, not just their ears. That means getting close, physically close. You walk over, you kneel to their level, you soften your face, you place a gentle hand on their shoulder, you say their name, and you wait. Not talk over them, not rush. You wait until they look at you. Eye contact. Only then do you speak. This isn't permissive. This isn't coddling it. It's neurological alignment. You're meeting their brain where it is before asking it to move. This takes 10 seconds. Repeating yourself from 3 rooms away takes 5 minutes and wrecks your nervous system. Connection first. Always.